I probably should have mentioned him by name. Great speaker though, great speaker. Tell it like it is, no BS. And I asked him about setting goals and outcomes. Now, every real estate salesperson has heard the goal thing and the outcome thing and go towards what you want and all that 200 times. They've heard it from me, they've heard it from you, they've heard it from Roberts, they've heard it from Hill, they've heard it from, you know, again, depending on people's religious beliefs. And, you know,
Confucius.
They've heard it from everyone. And yet, they still don't have it. You know, everyone's told them. And so I wrote down the thing, if they must know it's a true fact, because we can't all be full of rubbish, you know. We can't all be lying. So why is it still that even with that undeniable fact in people's heads, do they still not do it? What do you think on that?
First, why is never a good question. It's always a disempowering question, because all the answers you get are going to keep you where you are, because you're going to find out why I'm here, and now you've learned how to stay here.
Okay. How do I improve my language then to get the answer?
Okay. So what happens though is that it comes down to The Secret, not the book The Secret, because most people who've read The Secret, actually the book never told you what The Secret is. That's in the sequel. The Secret came from Napoleon Hill's book. It was a quote of his that said, "In every chapter of my book is a secret. And when you discover the secret, your success will come so fast and furious it will make your head spin." The Secret is also the title of his book. Think and Grow Enriched. I mean, you can have anything you want. But the secret really is that people think it can't be that easy. See, because it's not tangible. This is just mental games, and it's just process, and I was saying I want this going to have it happen. And so they say it can't be that easy. Well, if that's what you say, you're absolutely correct. And you got to remember is that we have been hypnotized, and we were talking about that earlier, is that you, as a hypnotist, you actually are dehypnotizing people because they're in this mass hysteria, this mass hypnosis, that in order to succeed in life, you have to work hard. Okay, that's a lie. That is a complete lie. My dad was the hardest working man I'd ever met, and he died with nothing. Okay, well, where's the cause and effect? I mean, if that was supposed to create this, and it didn't work, so then there's a flaw in the system.
Yeah, that formula doesn't work, does it?
And my grandfather worked hard. He wound up nothing. Okay, wait a minute. Now, is it my family? No, I look at most of society. They're out there working their tails off. And then you look at the most successful people, they're actually not working that hard, they're having a good time. I mean, Richard Branson doesn't seem like he works that hard, working from a hammock on a Virgin Island, you know, surrounded by, you know, good-looking women, doesn't use a mobile phone, doesn't use a computer, uses a notepad, and has 680 successful companies. Okay, now wait a minute, he's getting one result, these guys working hard to get this result. Well, as you sow, so shall you reap. Plant hard work, get a hard life, right? Make it easy. You enjoy yourself, you're going to be way more successful. But people say it can't be that easy. You're special. You're the lucky one. You're in the right place, the right time. Oh, he slept his way to the top. Or, I mean...
Yeah, I get that all the time, man.
You know? Well, the funny thing is, my beautiful wife, you know, when we started dating and we got engaged, some of her friends said, you know, because she's also a success coach. And that which... 3 weeks before meeting me, she had made the decision, that's what I want to do. We were at a party at a winery in New Zealand. She walked up to me and I just happened to, you know, she was dressed as an angel. And I said, so what do you do when you're not dressed as an angel? And she said, well, my real passion is I want to be a success coach. And I kind of laughed, you know. And I said, she goes, what are you laughing at? You don't think I can do it? I'm too young? I said, no, don't get violent. I am a coach. I just thought it was funny he said it to me, and I worked with President Clinton, and you know, blah blah. And here's my card. And the next day, there's an email from her saying, "I went to your website. Oh my God, you charge a lot of money. I don't have that kind of money. Would you help me anyways? I'm so passionate about this." See, now that's what average people won't do.
Good question.
Right there, they won't ask for help, and they won't get out of their comfort zone, and they see the price, and they go, "I don't have it, so I won't get it." Yeah. But Natalie Cook, women's beach volleyball, asked me to take her to gold when she was a bronze medalist, and said, I don't have the money, I'm a bronze medalist, would you work for me for 2 years for free? She's now a gold medalist because of the work I do with her and Carrie. I saw the same thing in Johanna, right? And there she is. And friends of hers, and as we started dating, got engaged, said, oh, you're just sleeping your way to the top. And she was upset by that because she really felt hurt by that. She told me, and I said, And I kind of laughed. I said, that's awesome. She goes, why is that awesome? I said, well, it's better than what they're doing which is sleeping their way to the bottom. At least you're going to the top. And if you're using me for sex, don't ruin my thing. I'm having a great time. And I said, look, honey, we actually know what our relationship is. Right? That, who cares? And those people, when you say they, you're talking about the majority. Because the minority, the successful people, they'd encourage you. They go, you got a new car? Awesome, fantastic. Majority goes, oh, you just bragging. You just got to show it off all the time. You know, you're in a great relationship. The successful people go, fantastic. The other people, they want to, oh, she's too old. He's too old. She's too young, too fat. I mean, they want to find something. Okay, but the majority, the most consumed drug on the planet is antidepressants. Okay, most consumed means the majority are taking them. 65% of all marriages are ending in divorce. 97 out of every 100 people who work 45 years of their life away wind up dead or dead broke. Well, 97% represents the majority, right? It's the minority that changes the world. It's the majority that waits for the world to be changed. So why would I care what these people think? You know, they're only going to drag you down. So you have to stand up here and say, the only way that I can ever inspire these people, because I don't want to give up on them, but the only way I can ever help them out is for me to make the very best out of my life. Because then I'll be a shining star, an example for them to go to move towards that shining star light. But if they're not going to come up here, they never were. Okay, well, I'm definitely not going to hang out here, you know, because misery loves company. Because you'll wind up hating and resenting these people. And that's really where this comes from, is that we hang out in this environment and you become just like them because you think like them. But if you live in the consciousness of the masses, you'll wind up with the destiny of the masses. You have to be these people up here, like I said, who go, man, if they can do it, I can do it. How did they do it?
Great question.
Right? Just how did they do it? And how can I do it? And instead of thinking of a whole plan, what's the first step? That's all you got to think about. What's that first step, and then master it. And then, because guess what? In motion, you'll see things that you couldn't see when you were standing still. But if you have this whole plan, most people go into paralysis through analysis because they're going, well, I can't move until I got the whole thing. But if you want to make God laugh, you'll tell him your plans. Because you'll go down the path and you realize it's not all there. It moved and it changed and it shifted, and you got to be flexible. I mean, Bruce Lee said you have to be the water. You have to take the shape of whatever you pour yourself into or whatever you're poured into. And that's why just figure out the first step, take massive action, get it done, master it. What's my next step?
You know what, because I kind of, maybe I got my back up a little bit when Mark said what he said when I was asking him about, because I had some guys working with me, not necessarily on this team, but another team, that kind of, they needed to set some targets and some outcomes. And he said, I tell you, he didn't say something too far off what you just said. He said, I don't believe in goals. Now, he was saying that for dramatic effect a little bit. But what he said was almost the same as you. He said, play the ball. He was using a rugby league analogy. He said, play the ball in front of you to the best of your ability, and then play the next ball in front of you. Take them as they come.
Well, the balance,
and that's pretty close
well,
to what you've
the
just
balance,
said.
though, is, you know, because I also talked about living in a moment, being present. Goal, we need to have goals, but I say don't set goals. Set grand dream goals. No man's soul has ever been stirred by having small goals, Victor Hugo. Right? The way I would say that is I've never seen anybody have a Daewoo on their dream list before. You know, have something that inspires you. Have something that fires you up. You know, I mean, don't go for goals, because see, most people set goals that they think they can get instead of what they really want to experience. But the only reason we set a goal is because goals give our life direction. Without direction, we're stagnant, we rot. Now, the law of vibration says everything in the universe is in motion. So if you're not moving, you're going to rot. So goals give our life direction, but then you have to take actions for those goals, right? That's that one step in front of the other thing. Well, every time you step, it creates a ripple across the universal pond. On those ripples, that's called precession, the precessional effect. The ripples are always bigger than the goal itself. So my interview with you here today came from 11, 12 years ago. I was here in Australia. The company brought me here, left me stranded, living in a sheep shearer shed in Griffith. They didn't pay me for a year. I was $20 away from being homeless in 2 countries. I couldn't even fly home to be homeless in. So I figured, let's stick it out, man. You know, you teach this stuff, let's go for it. So I started...
So you're teaching success stuff.
Yeah,
and they brought you out for that.
Yes.
And
they didn't pay me.
These guys haven't.
But it's okay. So, well, hey, look, I'm still here.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't hate us that much. That's
No,
good.
no, I love the
I'm glad
company.
you stuck us
And
out.
so what happened was I booked the RNA Showgrounds, and we said, well, I'll tell you what happened is that I'm about